Relax. No, relax. Go back. Relax.
Today's case is every mother's worst nightmare, a missing child. For this mother, the nightmare becomes an unendurable reality when the body of her young son is found and all hope is lost. When Taylor Nicholson's mother told her she was having surgery performed on her ankle, Nicholson knew she would have to go stay with her to help as she recovered. Caring for someone in that condition is time-consuming, and Nicholson knew she would not be able to focus on her 2-year-old son, Amari, as well. Instead, she decided to leave Amari with Terrell Rhodes, her live-in boyfriend of 1 year. Many would say this was not a wise decision. She hadn't known him very long, and Amari was too young to alert anyone or escape from the home if anything was wrong. Regardless of hindsight, it's a choice that many people would have made in the same situation, and Nicholson left for Colorado on April 30th, believing that her son would be safe. That belief was quickly stripped from her on May 5th when she answered a call from Rhodes. In stunned disbelief, she listened to the words that no parent wants to hear. Her son had been taken. Rhodes then planted an elaborate story. He claimed that the sister of Amari's biological father came to the apartment and said that there was an agreement with Nicholson for Amari to be picked up. Rhodes offered to pack some of the boy's belongings, but was told that wouldn't be necessary. Rhodes said that a few minutes later something didn't feel right about the situation, and he tried to call several times before Nicholson answered her phone. When he was told that there was no such arrangement, he immediately left the apartment and began to search the area, but by that time there was no sign of Amari or his aunt. This account raises red flags. If there had been a visit with his father's relatives set up, why hadn't Amari just been sent to stay with him in the first place? And if Rhodes was only supposed to watch the child until he was picked up, why didn't Nicholson tell him that? But the most alarming point is the fact that Rhodes would let the toddler go off with someone he didn't know without first calling Nicholson to confirm that this was something she had arranged. Nicholson left for home right away, desperate to discover the whereabouts of her son. Unfortunately, according to the police, Amari didn't fit the requirements for an Amber Alert, which Amari's family still maintains needs to be changed. Not willing to wait, Nicholson and Rhodes organized a search on Facebook, deciding that sending out volunteers would be better than waiting helplessly for news. The couple was interviewed, and Rhodes was noticeably agitated, stating that the most disgusting thing was that people were saying he must have had something to do with Amari's disappearance.
I mean, it seems to be, yeah, I mean, there's different stories floating around out there. I mean, can you just explain to me what you think happened?
We had just woke up, I had just fed him breakfast. I turned around to call her to tell her if this is or this true, was this really prearranged? People is making this a finger pointing game, and this is not a finger pointing game. My son is really missing. And where's my son? If anybody got him, bring him back. Anybody know anything, let us know.
Rhodes had ample reason to feel the sting of scrutiny. In the past year, Child Services had been called over allegations of abuse, according to Amari's grandmother. Child Protective Services looked into the incident, but closed the case without taking further action. Further details cannot be obtained as the agency is legally prohibited from discussing individuals. Amari's grandmother, Carrie Howard, stated that she believes Amari would still be alive if the investigation had been more thorough. Without going into details, Howard indicated that the entire family had been concerned for Amari since Nicholson had started dating Rhodes. Police were considering Rhodes the primary suspect from the beginning. This is usually the case when someone is the last known person to see the victim, especially when the victim is a minor. Another strike against Rhodes was the fact that Nicholson had told him she was ending the relationship several days prior to her trip.
What's really sickening is that people is making assumptions, thinking that I have something to do with it, that I have her manipulated in some way.
At the scene, there were soiled clothing and blood on the walls, a stark contradiction to Rhodes' story of an abduction. In addition, Amari's relatives on his father's side denied all involvement in or knowledge of the incident, and there was nothing in their history with Amari or his mother to implicate them. Crimes that aren't premeditated can often be solved quickly. Since most details are overlooked and things are poorly covered up, stories are weak, with easily disproven plots, and possibly the most essential element is the fact that the person committing the crime has no time to brace themselves and get their emotions under control.
It's like, when did you last see the child?
Approximately like 50 minutes ago.
15 minutes ago?
50.
Oh, 50? Okay. And then did you see which way they went when they took off?
No, I didn't. I didn't even look out the door. I did.
Okay.
I had no idea she was even coming over here.
Just 4 days after Amari's death, Rhodes broke down under questioning and admitted to killing the child. Amari, as most toddlers do at some time or another, had wet himself multiple times. Normally, any adult with small children understands this and takes it in stride, but not Rhodes, even though he had lived with Amari for over a year, and it is unlikely the first time something like that happened. Instead of washing the boy and changing his clothes, he became enraged and struck Amari several times in the head with his fists. When Amari turned blue and purple in the face and then stopped breathing, Rhodes claimed he tried to resuscitate him, but it was too late. Panicking, he took the toddler and buried him less than a mile away from their apartment. Rhodes told investigators he had buried Amari near a brick wall between the Siegel Suites and the McDonald's in the area, and drew them a map, which led them to Amari's remains. Police moved quickly to charge Rhodes with the crime, but he wasn't going to go quietly. As you can see in this video, he completely broke down and lunged for an officer's gun.
Out of here. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. I can't go back. I can't go back. I can't go back. Relax. No, relax. Go back.
It is unclear whether he meant to shoot his way out or take his own life, but it took several people to overpower him and confiscate the weapon.
Where's the hand? Which hand is it? Got it! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun, dude! Drop the gun! You got his hand? No, drop the gun! Drop the gun! Terrell, drop the gun! You're making things worse! Alright, Joe, drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! I got his right hand. Where's the point? Ah! Ah! Drop the gun! You got it? Got it. Patrol here! Give me the gun. Got it. Yes! My wrist! Stay there! Stop resisting there, alright? Stop resisting! Grab the cop's gun. Will you relax? Get patrol here.
Unlike everyone else involved, Nicholson was stunned when she discovered that her boyfriend was responsible for the death of her child. Many people, including protesters, were angry with Nicholson for letting this happen and accused her of having some involvement. However, the police found no evidence to support these accusations. Had have said, although she exhibited poor judgment in many of her choices, there was nothing that would warrant criminal charges.
As the investigation progressed, it became very clear to us that Terrell Rhodes was our primary suspect. I'm here to tell you today that Terrell Rhodes has been booked for the murder of Amari Nicholson.
Amari's family, including his father, Giorgio Hayes, are devastated by the loss, and for some of them, there may never truly be closure. The senselessness and the brutality of the crime is understandably difficult for them to understand. How could anyone do this to a child? There was no reason things had to escalate that far. Rhodes could have refused to keep him, or he could have called someone for help if the responsibility was too overwhelming. In the end, Amari died for being what he was, a perfectly normal 2-year-old. In the perfect storm of his mother's poor decisions and Rhodes' uncontrollable temper, he was the one to pay the ultimate price. Terry Rhodes was charged with first-degree murder in the death of Amari Nicholson. Rhodes also faced 10 additional charges after he grabbed the officer's gun in a police interview room. Those additional charges are 2 counts each of attempted murder with a deadly weapon, assault on a police officer with a deadly weapon, and 4 counts of resisting an officer with a deadly weapon. The district attorney did not choose to seek the death penalty, much to the disappointment of family members and the general public. Rhodes will remain in jail without bail until his sentencing.